Okay, for operations, the first thing we need to do is make sure that the operations application is turned on. And so I can tell that mine is turned on already because I have operations in the tree view. If you didn't, then come up here to your device ID. In this case, mine is Totalflow, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Totalflow. And then come over to your Applications tab, click on that. And then I can scroll down here to Application 10 in the G4. It should be Operations. So if it isn't, go ahead and click on the space next to Application 10 and choose Operations from the list and then send that. And once again, if you don't know exactly which application slot you should turn on at a particular point, come over to the Help button while you're on the Application tab, and you should get a G4 X Series layout of applications. And so I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see Operations should be right here at Application 10. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And now that we've got Operations turned on and we've sent it, we've got Operations over here in our tree view. I'm just going to give you a short example, a small example, kind of the tip of the iceberg of what Operations will do, but we can go ahead and calculate beta ratio based off of your orifice diameter and your pipe diameter. So I need to go get the application array register for pipe diameter and orifice diameter, and then we'll go ahead and do the math function and output that data. So what I need to do is open up my flow measurement and go ahead and click on Setup, and then I'm going to jump over to Constants tab, and I have the orifice diameter, which is 11.7.8, and my pipe diameter, which is 11.7.9, and go ahead and jot down those two numbers, 11.7.8 for orifice diameter, 11.7.9 for pipe diameter. And then come down here to Operations, and under Operations by default we have Periodic turned on, Math, and Compare. So I'm going to jump over to the Math function, and I'm going to do a R1 over R2, and if just by looking at this you can see that what the math function will do for you. It takes whatever is in the register 1 slot and does some math function to the register 2 slot, and you get a new value. And so I could do R1 plus R2 or R1 minus R2, multiply, divide, so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and do R1 over R2, and I'm going to put in my orifice diameter, and so in this case was 11.7.8, and then for my pipe diameter 11.7.9, and I'm going to go ahead and send this. And then I'm going to reread this page. And so what I have now is my orifice diameter over my pipe diameter, and I have a new value of 0.4838. Okay? And then we can put in here beta ratio. And I'm going to go ahead and send that and keep the description in there. Okay, so now I have a new variable. If I hover over it, 10.7.0 is the app array register for beta ratio. So at this point we could go down to the display, and using what you learned in the display programming section of the tutorial, you could add 10.7.0 beta ratio to your display and have it scroll on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and open up a couple of the other possibilities that you could turn on in Operations. So I'm going to drop down under Operation to Capacity, and you notice we have 10 periodic and 10 math functions turned on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on a few of each. So here will be 2 bit functions, 2 array, 2 select, 2 lag, 2 lead, 2 Q, 2 ramp, pulse, limit, scale, and playback. So I'm going to go ahead and send those. And now I'm going to go ahead and once this comes back, we'll show you under Operations. Now you can see I have a periodic, math, bit, compare, array, select, and so forth. And once again, go to the help files to give you a better understanding of each one of the components. But for periodic, for example, I can do something per an interval or per, let me look here, interval or time or triggered. I can also change my operation. I can take R1 and push it to the output register. I can take R1 and push it to R2 and then push that to the output. And so you can look down the list here. R1 is not equal to R2, or greater than or less than R2, and so forth. We can do some and ors functions based off of an interval. Bit, R1 and R2, R1 or R2, and then it'll give you a value of a 1 or 0 based off of if it's true or false. And then, of course, a compare function. The operation is R1 is equal to, not equal to, greater than, and so forth for a compare. So it'd give me a true-false statement based off of that. And then I'm just going to go down the list here. Array, and we have a couple of choices for operations under array: sum, mean, square root, minimum, maximum. Select, this gives me a couple of choices here. I could put a select in, lag, lead, queue, ramp. And so you can really build on this more than I can really give you a full understanding. But as you create, go into the help files once again on each one of these, and it'll help you with give you a better understanding. So just for example, on ramp here, I'm going to hit the help button. It tells me what the ramp operation is, what each one of the logarithms are, and then from there I could maybe figure out if that's exactly what I want to do with my operation I'm trying to put together. There's also extended help for some of these, or expanded help, excuse me, and I can go through and it gives me a background of the expanded help, and then gives me an example of each one of these individual points that I might want to put in here. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and go ahead and hit next. And you can see there's an overview of the setup of PCCU, instantiating the operations, operation scenario, and so forth. So you can see how that the help would help you. So this concludes operations.